Good morning, everybody. So, in our previous lecture, we have already discussed regarding the production of monoclonal antibodies by hybridoma technology, as well as the production of chimeric type of antibodies, human monoclonal antibodies, and humanized monoclonal antibodies by recombinant DNA technology. So we know that these antibodies are very useful for therapeutic purpose, diagnostic purpose, and disease treatment purpose also. Whichever diseases which are not easily diagnosed by routine procedure or routine techniques, microbiological, biochemical techniques, as well as serological techniques, these diseases, these infections can be diagnosed by using monoclonal antibodies. As the monoclonal antibodies are very specific and they are very pure and they are produced against single antigen determinants, so the specificity in point of view it is very important and very significant in particular diagnosing the or diagnosing particular infections and diseases. Simultaneously, it is also known that these antibodies can be used for treatment purpose or therapeutic purpose, as these are antibodies. Basically, these are antibodies. So, to produce immunity against the specific antigen determinant, these antibodies can be given to the patient to cure the infection. So, it is therapeutic point of view. So, disease diagnostic treatment, therapeutic treatment, as well as in research also we can use these antibodies. Whenever we want to identify particular antigen in patient sample or clinical sample, then we can use these antibodies. Especially in case of viral infections, when we want to detect viral proteins or viral antigens, then we can use these specific antibodies, monoclonal antibodies, so that we can easily diagnose, we can easily detect the presence of particular antigen in the patient sample. So, all these points, all these applications are considered here. One by one, we will study the applications of monoclonal antibodies in detail. The first one is the identification of pathogen, that is for diagnostic purpose you can say. So these antibodies are used in diagnosis of gonorrhea and chlamydia trachomatis infection. Gonorrhea, it is a sexually transmitted disease. It is caused by Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Chlamydia trachomatis is also one infectious agent. So to detect, to identify these pathogens in clinical sample of the person, we can use monoclonal antibodies. Secondly, these antibodies are used to differentiate between herpes virus 1 and herpes virus 2. You might be knowing herpes zoster. In Marathi we call it as nagin. So it is caused, the herpes zoster is caused by herpes virus. So herpes virus are of two types, 1 and 2. So we can differentiate this virus, herpes virus, by using monoclonal antibodies. When we want to differentiate herpes, whether the person is suffering from herpes virus 1 or 2. So when we want to detect this, we can use specific monoclonal antibodies. These antibodies, so whenever we are using the monoclonal antibodies against herpes virus 1, then they can specifically identify herpes virus number 1. When we use against 2, they can bind with that herpes virus 2. So this is one of the important application of monoclonal antibodies. Again, in case of venereal disease, which is a syphilis. Syphilis is venereal disease, sexually transmitted disease caused by Treponema pallidum, and this disease can be also diagnosed by using monoclonal antibodies. One thing you remember here, these antibodies are against specific single antigenic determinant. So it is called as monoclonal. And as far as specificity is concerned, these antibodies are very specific and much more specific than polyclonal antibodies. So, as efficiency point of view, these antibodies are more efficient in identifying or in detecting certain pathogens. Therefore, these are used here to diagnose particular infection. Then, monoclonal antibodies can be used for detection of pregnancy. You might be knowing that in pregnant women, particular hormone is there in the urine sample, that is human gonadotropin hormone. So this gonadotropin hormone is present in urine sample of pregnant woman. So whether she is pregnant or not, this we can detect by the presence or absence of this particular hormone in the urine sample. So to detect the pregnancy of particular women, we can use monoclonal antibodies. So if this hormone is detected, then it is considered that the woman is pregnant. So to detect human gonadotropin hormone, we can use monoclonal antibodies. Secondly, for the identification of cancerous cells in a clinical sample. Sometimes it is very difficult to detect the cancer. Whether the person is suffering from some type of the cancer or not, and if we detect the cancer in primary stage, then it will be easy to treat and convenient to treat the person and to cure the particular disease. So if we detect the cancer in earlier stage or in primary stage, then it will be easy for the treatment and it will be successful also. So the cancerous cells can be detected which are there in the clinical sample by using monoclonal antibodies. So cancerous cells, they are having different sets of antigen on their surface. Cancerous cell or tumor cell. This cell is transformed cell. It is not normal cell. So when normal cell is transformed into tumor cell, that is a cancerous cell, then this cell possess, after transformation I mean to say, this cell may have or may possess certain antigen on it their surface. So monoclonal antibody, MAB is a short form used for monoclonal antibody, you remember here. The MAB against cancer cells are useful in detection of presence of cancer cell in clinical sample. Suppose if you take the clinical sample from patient, clinical sample may be sputum sample, urine sample, what it may be. Then if you want to detect cancer cells in this clinical sample, then you can use monoclonal antibodies which are specific against the antigens which probably present on cancer cell. So if you use specific monoclonal antibodies against that antigens which are probably present on the cancer cell, then it will be easier to identify that the cancer cells are really there or not. If the antibodies detect that antigen, then we can say that the person is having some type of the cancer. So this type of the identification can be done by using monoclonal antibodies. And these antibodies, whatever antibodies we are using for detection of the cancer, these antibodies are labeled with some radioactive isotope, that is the iodine. Iodine 125. So these iodine 125, these are used for detection of cancer in clinical sample like sputum, blood, etc. If you take sputum sample from a patient, then you can detect the cancer cell in a sputum sample by using radioactive isotope iodine 125. Or if you take blood sample also from the same patient or other person, and if you detect the tumor cell or cancer cell by using radioactive iodine 125 isotope, then you can diagnose the particular type of the cancer. So it is very useful technique and very useful application because detection of cancer in earlier stage or primary stage is very important here. If we want to cure, if we want to get rid of cancer, if we want to treat the person who is having cancer and we want to really cure that cancer in earlier stage, we can cure it. So detection is very important. Whether the person is really suffering from cancer or not, this detection in earlier stage is very important. If the cancer stage is secondary or tertiary, if it is in progress, that is difficult to treat the person, difficult to give the treatment to the person and to cure it. But if we detect in earlier stage, then it will be successful to some extent. So detection is very important, and in that point of view, use of monoclonal antibodies in detection of cancer is important here. We can see here the important application. These antibodies are also used in detection of spread of cancer cell. Once we detect it, then we can give the treatment, no doubt. But these antibodies are also used in detecting the spreading of cancer, that is called as malignancy. The tumor, if it is localized or if it is confined to that particular organ, that is said that it is a local type of the tumor. But if it is going to be spread in neighboring cells, it is called as malignancy. So if it is spreading in neighboring cell, that is dangerous. If it is confined to only one cell or one type of the organ, then we can carry out some surgical operations to remove that. But if it is transferring and if it is spreading in neighboring cell, it is difficult for us to cut or to remove that particular part, because all the portion or some of the portion of the neighboring organs and neighboring cells also come in contact, and if there is a spreading of the cancer in that cells, then it is difficult to remove that cell also, because it is not easy to remove the organs. If it is easy to remove some part of the organ, but not easy to surgically remove the different portions of the organs. So in that case, the spreading detection of the cancer is very uh, important here, whether the cancer is benign or it is malignant. Benign means confined to organ. Malignance means spreading the cancer. So malignancy detection is important here, and we can use it by using the monoclonal antibodies. Detection can be done by using monoclonal antibodies. So we want to prevent that spreading. We can prevent it, but first we at least we have to detect that whether it is spreading or not. So we have to detect in that particular stage. So if we find that this is spreading, then we can prevent by using other techniques, no doubt. But spreading can be detected first. This detection is important. Secondly, detection of drugs. We know that certain sportsmen and actors, they take certain drugs, and it is not actually again, that means it is against the law. It is not, it should not be taken by the sportsman and before the competition, and that means certain types of the games and all that, or particular games are there, then it is not against, that means it is not feasible, as well as it is not moral also. In morality point of view also, it is not good, and that means it is very against the dreadful action, you can say. It is very, very wrong, you can say. So to track the drug, that means some persons and some person who are having more responsibility, and in order to relieve the stress, they can take these drugs. They are taking the drug, no doubt. So consumption of drugs, some person they are taking cocaine, some person they are taking morphine. So this consumption is there, and if the person consumes the drug, then little or trace quantity of the drug may be there in the, which is deposited in the urine sample or in other body secretions. So if we use monoclonal antibodies to detect the presence or absence of the drug in the person, that is again very helpful application. In certain cases, we know that detection is very important, because if the person in the sportsman is taking the drug, that is not that means it is not morally good, it is against, it is very wrong thing. So we want to know whether the sportsman, whether the person have taken this particular drug, have consumed that drug or not, and therefore we want to detect it. So if the person take it, if the person consume it, then some part of the drug may be deposited in his blood, in his urine sample also, and this detection can be done by using the monoclonal antibodies. So this is also one of the very important application of the monoclonal antibodies. Then certain proteins are also detected by using, that means monoclonal antibodies can be used in research purpose as a research tool to detect certain proteins. Protein purification, we know that different proteins are there and we want to isolate, we want to know only desired protein, we want to study only one particular protein. So in that protein purification method or techniques, these antibodies can be used. So monoclonal antibodies bind to desired protein in the column. See here, the column is prepared, chromatography column. So like that, this column is prepared and then antigen and monoclonal antibodies are added. So monoclonal antibodies only bind to the desired protein and other proteins will get eluted out from the column. So only the protein to which monoclonal antibodies has binded there, so that proteins will be separated and they will be studied further. So this is the isolation, or you can say the purification. They are purified further, no doubt, but you remember that if we want to study particular proteins in the proteinic mixture, desired protein we can say here, then we have to prepare the column of the protein and we are going to add the monoclonal antibodies in the protein mixture column. So monoclonal antibodies will bind to only the our interested proteins, and other proteins will be thrown out from the column or they will be eluted from the column. So this is known as the application of monoclonal antibody in protein purification. So especially this part, protein purification as well as gene cloning as well as detection of other proteins. So this part comes in research field. When we want to do research, when we want to study some viruses, some bacteria and their proteins and their enzymes, then we can use these monoclonal antibodies for research purpose. So specifically in the protein purification we are using it, but it comes under research field or is as a research tool we are using monoclonal antibodies. Then secondly, in gene cloning, these antibodies are used for detection of desired gene. So it can be used as a probe for detecting those cells that synthesize particular product. We know that any product which is produced in the cell, that product is produced only when the particular gene is there in the nucleus. So particular DNA must be there and then only the product will be produced. For example, if you take the example of one enzyme. So enzyme is produced only when the particular gene is there. The gene is transcribed and then translated to form the particular protein. Gene or DNA will be transcribed to mRNA. mRNA will be translated to form the protein, like that, or enzyme. So protein is the product here. It means that this product will be produced only when the specific gene is there in the cell. So these antibodies, what is mentioned here, these monoclonal antibodies are used to detect desired gene. If we want particular enzyme, suppose I want the enzyme dehydrogenase, alcohol dehydrogenase, or you can say succinate dehydrogenase. So that enzyme is there, that gene is there. Unless or until the gene is there, enzyme will not be synthesized. So what I want to know, this particular gene. So that desired gene can be detected, okay, by using monoclonal antibodies. Or it can be used as a DNA probe for detecting those cells which are producing the particular product. Probe means it is just like DNA. It is a one type of the, you can say, tool to detect that. So DNA probe like that, this monoclonal antibodies can be used as a probe to detect particular cell which are going to synthesize the particular product or specific product. So this is the part of again molecular application, molecular level or genetic application of monoclonal antibodies. Then detection of proteins. Monoclonal antibodies are used for detection of proteins by Western blot technique. You might be knowing Southern blot and Western blot. These are the two advanced type of the techniques or new diagnostic techniques for detection of proteins. And here, like that technique, these antibodies are also used for detection of proteins. Western blot, Southern blot, these techniques are also used to detect proteins. But here we can use monoclonal antibodies also for detection of proteins like Western blot technique by Western blot technique, as well as for detection of antigens in tissue sections. Whenever the person is suffering from particular infectious agent, particular pathogen, this pathogen bears certain antigens on their surface. So whenever the antigen or foreign particle or you can say pathogen enters in the body or going to invade in body tissues, then we have to collect that tissues, and from that tissue we have to detect the presence of these antigens in the tissue sections. If we detect the presence of antigens in that tissue section, then we can say, we can confirm the particular pathogen has been entered in the body or not. If we detect the presence of antigen, then we can confirm. If the antigens are not detected in the tissue sections, then we can say that there is no any type of the infection. So presence or absence of antigens in tissue sections can be detected by using monoclonal antibody. एखाद्या पॅथोजन आपल्या बॉडीमध्ये एंटर झाल्यानंतर किंवा इन्फेक्शन झाल्यानंतर त्याच्यामध्ये जे अँटीजेन्स असतात ते अँटीजेन्स त्या आपल्या बॉडीच्या टिश्यूमध्ये येतात. म्हणजे टिश्यू सेक्शन घेतल्यानंतर ते अँटीजेन्स आपल्याला त्या ठिकाणी डिटेक्ट होऊ शकतात. तर हे जे डिटेक्शन आहे हे आपण मोनोक्लोनल अँटीबॉडीच्या साहाय्यानं करू शकतो. जर आपल्याला ते अँटीजेन्स त्या ठिकाणी डिटेक्ट झाले आपल्या टिश्यू सेक्शनमध्ये, तर आपण म्हणू शकतो की या पर्सनला ह्या पॅथोजनचं इन्फेक्शन, ठराविक पॅथोजनचं इन्फेक्शन झालेलं आहे. इफ इट इज नॉट डिटेक्टेड देर इज नो इन्फेक्शन. म्हणजे ह्याचा संबंध पुन्हा डिसीज आणि इन्फेक्शनच्या डिटेक्शनमध्ये होतो. डिटेक्शन ऑफ प्रोटीन्स मीन्स इनडायरेक्टली वी आर डिटेक्टिंग इन्फेक्शन ऑर डिसीज. So these are the applications of monoclonal antibodies in research, in therapeutic purpose, as well as in treatment of cancer. We can use these antibodies. In treatment of cancer, now in therapeutic purpose, treatment of cancer we can use monoclonal antibodies. So we can use these antibodies against tumor cells for a treatment of cancer. Certain toxins are used, and these toxins are mixed with monoclonal antibodies. When we conjugate toxins with monoclonal antibodies, it is called as immunotoxins. And these monoclonal antibodies, along with the toxins, are introduced in the body. These antibodies bind selectively to cancer cell and deliver the toxin. म्हणजे टॉक्झिन बरोबर आपण मोनोक्लोनल अँटीबॉडीजचं कॉन्ज्युगेशन करून घ्यायचं पहिल्यांदा, आणि अशा मोनोक्लोनल अँटीबॉडीज आपण एखाद्या बॉडीमध्ये, वर्टिब्रेट बॉडीमध्ये इंट्रोड्यूस करायच्या की ज्यामुळं त्या अँटीबॉडीज फक्त कॅन्सर सेलला बाइंड होतील आणि बाकीचं टॉक्झिन जे आहे तो निघून जाईल. सो टॉक्झिन किल्स, जे टॉक्झिन बाहेर पडणार आहे, निघून जाईल म्हणजे जे टॉक्झिन बाहेर पडणार आहे, दॅट टॉक्झिन किल्स कॅन्सर सेल्स बाय इनिबिटिंग प्रोटीन सिंथेसिस. सो इनडायरेक्टली we are going to kill cancer cell by using toxin or monoclonal antibodies. But we are using it in conjugated form, म्हणजे combined फॉर्ममध्ये आपल्याला करायचं आहे टॉक्झिन प्लस मोनोक्लोनल अँटीबॉडीज, नॉट अलोन. So when we are mixing toxin with monoclonal antibodies and introducing in vertebrate body, the monoclonal antibodies will bind to specific cancer cell and deliver the toxin. This toxin will kill the cancer cell by inhibiting their protein synthesis. So in this way we can destroy to some extent the cancer cell. Secondly, the antibodies, monoclonal antibodies, can be used in treatment of type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. We know type 1 hypersensitivity reactions are basically due to overproduction of IgE antibodies. IgE antibodies are reagenic antibodies which are having ability to go and bind with the master cell. So whenever IgE antibodies along with the antigens bind to the master cell, degranulation will there of the master cell and there is release of some mediators. And due to this, we observe hypersensitivity or allergic reactions. For example, the asthmatic attack as well as hay fever. These are the examples, anaphylaxis. These are the examples of urticaria. These are the examples of type 1 hypersensitivity. In our syllabus, we are going to study that part later on. But you just remember that hypersensitivity means allergy, allergic reaction. So why we observe allergic reaction in some persons? Because there is an overproduction of IgE antibodies. IgE antibodiजचं जास्त प्रोडक्शन झाल्यामुळं काही लोकांच्यामध्ये आपल्याला ॲलर्जिक रिॲक्शन दिसून येते किंवा टाईप 1 हायपरसेन्सिटिव्ह रिॲक्शन दिसून येते. इफ IgE production decreases, there is no binding of IgE to basophils and mast cells and then we can prevent the allergic reaction. जर आपण मग बेसिक रिझन काय आहे हायपरसेन्सिटिव्ह रिॲक्शन टाईप 1चं की प्रोडक्शन ऑफ IgE हे जास्त आहे, ओव्हर प्रोडक्शन आहे. ते जर आपण IgEचं थांबवलं तर आपल्याला त्या ठिकाणी पुढच्या ज्या रिॲक्शन होणार आहेत म्हणजे मास्ट सेल किंवा बेसोफिलला IgE जाऊन बाईंड होणं, त्याच्यानंतर ॲलर्जिक रिॲक्शन डेव्हलप होणं, ह्या सगळ्या ज्या स्टेप्स आहेत ह्या किंवा मेकॅनिझम हे आपण प्रिव्हेंट करू शकतो. सो इफ वी prevent the overproduction of IgE antibodies, then there is no binding of IgE antibodies to basophil and mast cell and thus we can prevent the allergic reaction. So no binding, no mast cell degranulation and no development of allergic reaction. So this is one type of the mechanism by which we can prevent allergic reaction by using monoclonal antibodies. So we have to use such type of the monoclonal antibodies which are against IgE antibodies. IgE या सुद्धा अँटीबॉडीज आहेत. तर या अँटीबॉडी किंवा या इम्युनोग्लोबिनच्या अगेन्स्ट आपल्याला मोनोक्लोनल अँटीबॉडीज वापराव्या लागतील. या मोनोक्लोनल अँटीबॉडीज IgE बरोबर रिॲक्ट होतील आणि IgEचं प्रोडक्शन त्या ठिकाणी कमी होईल. सो वी कॅन प्रिव्हेंट ओव्हर प्रोडक्शन ऑफ IgE अँटीबॉडीज अँड दस वी कॅन प्रिव्हेंट फर्दर ॲलर्जिक रिॲक्शन. सो दिस इज रिगार्डिंग द यूज ऑफ मोनोक्लोनल अँटीबॉडीज इन therapeutic treatment. So these are the applications in of monoclonal antibodies in research purpose, as research tool as well as for therapeutic purpose in treatment of cancer, in treatment and diagnosis of cancerous cells, detecting certain types of the proteins and detecting certain types of the antigens in tissue as well as in clinical sample of the person as well as in treatment of certain type of the hypersensitivity reactions. So this is regarding the applications of monoclonal antibodies. So in brief, we can say that there are several applications of these antibodies nowadays, particularly in detecting cancer, in diagnosing particular type of infections and diseases, as well as to treat particular infection and disease. Especially we are using these antibodies for treatment of cancer. Thank you.